Never be so certain about what you want that you wouldn't accept something better. This is one of the many insights our guest, Jonathan B. Smith, shared this week with me and Shane. JBS is a master negotiator, and in this amazing episode, he talks about his new book and his approach to tactical empathy, modern negotiation, the psychology behind influence, and how AI is reshaping negotiation prep. Let's dive in.
Well, the issue is learning these skills is like learning a new language. So you need to do immersion, and you have to be willing to do low stakes practice and get it wrong. And when learning is uncomfortable. I don't know if you've ever tried to learn a second language, but when they teach it in high school, you can write it down, but actually speaking it is hard. So the best way to do it is through immersion. The book itself is broken up into chapters along individual black swan skills. So for example, our foundational tools are what we call the core four. Labels is one chapter. Mirrors is another chapter. Dynamic silence is a third chapter. Summary is a fourth chapter. Being able to be silent is a discipline. So one of the things in that chapter is just talking about the discipline of why am I talking? And if we drop a skill like a label or a mirror, and if it was a label, it's like 7 to 10 words. And if it's a mirror, it's like 3 to 5 words. And then we want to just drop silence. And most people if you're not trained, you're not disciplined around it, you'll drop a label and then you'll try to explain your label with and, or, because, but. And we don't want you to do that. We just want you to drop the label and see how people respond. And as long as it doesn't appear that you offended that person by saying your label, we basically say, let that label soak in, use dynamic silence, and the person will respond. Negotiation is anytime I want or I need is in your head. So when you want your son or daughter to go to bed, it's a negotiation. Trying to deal with your neighbor about their dog barking or about some issue you have with the trash or whatever, you're in a negotiation. What we say is that I want you to go do low stakes practice before you go do high stakes practice because you will fall to the level of your training. So the idea here is, can you negotiate to get an extra shot of espresso? Can you negotiate to get a better table in the restaurant? Can you negotiate to get the valet to park your car in front of the casino instead of in the parking lot? I'll give you an example. I was at JP Morgan Chase. I needed to get to the producer of a event I was at. Everything's locked down there. It's kind of like being in the casino, but even tighter. I walk up to the security guard. Those security guards typically get treated like receptionists at the front desk. And I said to the security guard, "You look important." That's a label. You look important. Well, the guy stood up. He was like, "Oh my God, someone thinks I look important." What did I do? I said, how hard would it be for you to get me to this guy, Chris, who I needed to get to, who's the producer? He said, "Not hard at all. Hold on." He opened the door and he walked me over to Chris. No friction. I have an AI agent that's going to be put in Google Chrome plugin. So you can buy the agent. I've used it 400 times successfully to do negotiations. What we find is it's difficult to do negotiation prep. And the AI large language models will give you responses that even your brain won't give it to you because you have confirmation bias. You're like, I can't possibly say that. And that's the thing you should be saying. It's actually an orchestrated agent. So it's a series of GPTs that I put together that orchestrates. And what I'd like it to do is be able to operate independently inside of a Google Chrome plugin. And it basically starts with, what's the point of view of your counterpart? So I can actually build a GPT that figures out what their point of view is. We have something called a negotiation one sheet. So it will literally lay out one sheet. You could put it into a battle card if you think about a sales battle card. And then some people have said, hey, I want to see what a simulation of that negotiation looks like with that specific person. So we built a sim that actually shows what the negotiation might look like, starting with 15 volleys. We haven't figured out if you could do it in an ear, delivered directly to you and then you speak it out your mouth. That's what TV news anchor would do. We even took those crazy glasses, Shane, where you could actually deliver it to the glasses and read it, but it doesn't sound authentic. So here's what happens. People can smell intent. If the intent doesn't feel legitimate, we are hardwired to smell intent. Set yourself up for the negotiation, but then you have to go and be human. And there is no script to deliver that where I can say like, okay, well, here's exactly how the volleys are going to go. There's a bunch of things we're going to go uncover we don't know about the counterpart because you never know what's coming out on the other side. We say never be so certain about what you want that you wouldn't accept something better when it's offered. And if you walk in thinking you know what you want, you're only going to get the deal that you think you want. We use no-oriented questions. For example, I would say, if I texted you, Shane, we'd say, is now a bad time to talk? If it's a bad time to talk, you're going to tell me, yes, it's a bad time to talk. If it's not, you're going to say no. I was dealing with someone and, someone sent me a document and it looked like it was written by a lawyer. I was doing a mortgage. And I said, it looks like this document was written by a lawyer. So that's a label. I say, how hard would it be for you just to tell me the 3 things you need so we can get the deal done? Not hard at all. And I don't have to then deal with the legal language, and she's laughing on her end going like, yeah, I have to deal with these lawyers all the time. So we have a very simple question. I asked the question this morning. So Shane, I was in my level 10 meeting this morning. We were reviewing the sales funnel. I just sent a simple email, less than 7 words. Have you given up on EOS? I got a response in 30 seconds. Nope, I didn't give up. It got lost in the sauce, and we booked a meeting. The other thing for me is to become an expert. Become an expert at something, because the way that we're educating people in school doesn't actually translate to the kind of lifestyle that you're looking for, or a lot of people are looking for. So go do something great. Go become an expert. Don't be a generalist. People are going to pay for that expertise. So the book is called Fight Less, Win More. You can find it on Amazon. My website is Stay Curious, and then it's JBS. My name is Jonathan B. Smith, JBS, Juliet Bravo Sierra. So it's staycuriousjbs.com.